back and moving on to our second segment for today, talking about the tourism industry and the flourishing taking place in this sector in Egypt recently. Over the phone, we have Dr. Yahya Abdulqader, our tourism expert. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. So first of all, I'd like to shed the light on the current situation in this industry. As we have mentioned, we have seen some figures showing that number of tourists increased, and we are starting to be back on the track.
Well, really, 2024 is a good year for Egyptian tourism concerning, the developments we have over the past 10 years. The increase, in the hotel rooms and, developing more airports and resorts, like in Mediterranean and Red Sea as well, and in Upper Egypt between Luxor and Aswan. That's why we're having, an advanced figures in tourism arrivals for the first quarter of the year from January up to current April. And this is in excess, of past year, 2023. So, inshallah, by the end of the year, we'll be crossing the 15 million, mark, for international tourism inflows to Egypt.
Well, talking about the destinations that they focus on, I mean, just as you mentioned right now, you are talking about Upper Egypt. Of course, we know that during summertime, many people will be more interested to visit the Red Sea and different kinds of tourism. Actually, I remember we talked a lot about the safari, about Siwa, about oasis in general. Tell us more about these destinations.
Well, really, yeah, for the, because Egypt, needs at least, 200,000 more hotel rooms to reach its, the figures that's earmarked for us. That's why we started having developments in New Alamein. We have, world-class resorts, and there's going to be a new airport next to New Alamein as well. And then we have the new developments, in Ras Al Hikmah as well. So all these developments in the past have been securing a great number of international flows to us. Remember, we had about 4 museums at least has been, we have a private managed one in Hurghada. We have the National Museums for Heritage Civilization, in Masr al-Qadima, in that area. And we have been renovating, the Greco-Roman Museum. So all these developments are doubling the figures of both domestic and international inflows to Egypt, coupled with the increase in the capacity of airlines, both domestics and cargo and charter as well.
Talking also about the Mediterranean, because just as you mentioned, we have seen this last year, the Mediterranean attracted huge number of tourists coming to enjoy the New Alamein, the different events taking place over there, the live concerts as well. So talking about using these concerts or events in general and the celebrities in promoting for destinations, how do you see this?
Well, really, this is a great boom and boost for both domestic and international tourism as well. For the past 5 years, since the development of New Alamein, we're starting to have great, infrastructure and superstructures, facilities for holding concert, festival, celebration, and we've been, calling on great and top entertainers worldwide. That's why it's becoming a great resort, a hotspot for the summer vacations and vacationers worldwide, plus, our domestic and GCC travelers who fly to Egypt throughout the season. So really, both Sharm el-Sheikh, Hurghada, Marsa Alam, and New Alamein as well are becoming a great resort destinations for international travel and domestic residences as well.
If we're talking about the role of Egypt's participation, actually Egypt has always been keen to be part of any of the international travel fairs, whether we are talking about the ITB, the BIT, or more. So how far can this also help to increase number of tourists and also provide more opportunities for those who are interested to enjoy visiting or spending their vacation in Egypt?
Well, at least, there are 20 international travel exhibitions and travel fairs worldwide, all the way, from New Zealand, Australia, all the way to San Francisco. And Egypt is an active member participating in these events, and which really is very admired, by the tour operators, airlines, promotion facilities worldwide. That's why it's a great tool and instrument for international promotion. And as well as, the Ministry of Tourism is calling on investors in Luxor and Aswan, because next week there's going to be a great Chinese business delegation coming for investing in tourism developments in Upper Egypt. So really we have, both on international and on the domestic scene, we have developments developed by the private sector, investors, regional ones and international ones, and the government administration really is keen to develop these sectors, especially the culture and heritage one. And inshallah this year we'll be witnessing the grand opening of the Grand Egyptian Museum at the Giza Necropolis.
Right, I was just going to talk about also the Grand Egyptian Museum, as also everyone all around the world is waiting to find out more about the Grand Egyptian Museum and more about the collections to be displayed over there, especially after that soft opening, which just gave us some ideas or just points about what is expected to be discovered in this great museum.
Well, really, it's a grand, icon, for this century, because for the first time, the whole collection of the treasures of King Tutankhamun will be displayed under one roof, 5,400 artifacts, and this is a great achievement because his collections were scattered, between Luxor and the Cairo Museum and other museums as well. So this is, one of the spectacles that visitors will enjoy worldwide, and we have other great attractions as well. We have, a hyper-style with the grand, artifacts, belongs to the old kingdom, on display at the entrance of the museum. We have a great, labs for restoration and conservation as well. It's one of the best in the world. And plus, the facilities, the auditoriums, the children, museums, and the convention and meeting rooms, and plus, it's a great display of pharaonic artifacts. And remember the cubes, some boat for the first time is going to be, on display in an iconic place. So all this, is making the whole world lining up and anticipating for the grand opening to come and visit Egypt. And this is going to cause a surge, in the number of international flights coming to visit the Grand Egyptian Museum, inshallah.
I think also the interaction show taking place over there, I mean, that you feel really that you are traveling through time, whether we're talking about that one dedicated for the children on one side or for the visitors in general on the grand staircase.
Yes, definitely, yes. But this shows, they have a limited duration for 3 to 5 months. And then they're going to do more shows, on development, because the holograms, and the animations currently on display is great attraction for groups. And I remember the media listing that, apart from the archaeological and heritage part, the museum has been used, as a backstage for events, for concerts, for festivals, for fashion shows, parades. So really, it's a great location. And remember, art decor as well, displays, its art pieces around the Grand Egyptian Museum as well.
When it comes to archaeologists and those who are interested in Egyptology, also in general. We have seen something also interesting that many of them, they are talking about following some of the pharaohs. As you mentioned, for example, first time ever to just have the opportunity to enjoy the display of all belongings of Tutankhamun in one place. On the other side, we have seen other people who are interested to learn more about, for example, Ramses II, whether we're talking about the Colossus or the statue, the huge one located in the entrance, welcoming the visitors to the Grand Egyptian Museum, to the other museum, to the Namek, where they can see also the mummy of Ramses II, or even moving on to Upper Egypt, to Abu Simbel, to find out more about Ramses II and many about his temples. How can we use this more when it comes to following icons or the leaders, the pharaohs themselves?
Well, really, you're quite right. Like, remember, we've been having like a traveling expedition shows, like for Ramesses and the Gold of the Pharaohs that went all the way from San Francisco and is currently, like in Sydney, Australia, and is going to be there for 6 months, like and touring the world. Ramesses, like, is like, he has a hypnotic, like location in the memory of mankind. Like ancient poets and relics, they called him Ozymandias, like the great and the magnificent. He ruled for 60 years. And really, like the establishment and foundation of his statue, grand statue, at the entrance of the Grand Museum is like a touch of class. And, like they have the sun rays, like aligning on his face like twice a year, on his coronation day and on his birthday as well. So really, he has a very, like a strong memory for mankind as one of the great figures, historical ones. And his empire stretched all the way from southern Turkey to, like East Sinai, and all the way, like touching, like with the Libyan borders and the fourth cataract in the south. So, and his devotion and love for Nefertari, Queen Nefertari, like and their Abu Simbel temple over there, really is a great, like attraction for, like archaeologists, for writers, for readers. It's a very romantic, like memory associated with Ramesses II.
So on the conclusion, how do you see the current situation, and what are the most important destinations that we can use or work on more to attract more holiday makers?
Well, luckily, like Egypt, like has been like outlined 2 weeks ago by the Forbes International magazine, is ranked as one of the top geographical sites worldwide because of the diversity of its, like terrain, like from river to mountains, to Sahara to valley, and it has a very diverse product. That's why we have the oasis in the west, and we have the southern Sinai, where we are developing currently the St. Catherine, like the Great Revelation project as well. So Egypt is rich, like with its natural attraction and boundaries. That's why we have been capable to develop in the Delta, on the Mediterranean, on Lake Nasser as well, and Upper Egypt. So its rich culture and attractions really is a great boon, and making Egypt as a top destination for its diversity of culture, heritage, and geography and terrain as well.
Right, Dr. Yahya Abdulqader, our tourism expert, thank you very much for joining us.